today for Monday Night Football. Hope everyone had a good weekend. And we're just gonna get straight into it. So there's a promo right now on Prizepicks. So it hurts to go. Player members who play $10 with Jalen Hurts full game passing yards will split the prize. So you can go over or under. So first pick of the day, I just went under 231. So the reason why I went with that because there's no AJ Brown tonight, and I just feel like that hinders his ability to go over. AJ Brown's a good downhill receiver. Can get a lot of yak too, yards after the catch. So I just feel like naturally he's in the spot to go under. If we look right here, Jalen Hurts under 231, 51% chance to hit average odds minus 124. So it's really not that strong of a play. But with everything involved with no AJ Brown, and the Falcons have a pretty good secondary. So let's go into an outlier page. So the outlier page, honestly, doesn't really back up Hurts that much. Last 10, it's under 6 out of 10. You can see passing yards right here. Atlanta's actually 8th, going back from last season to this season. So he was in 50% of games last year. Home games, still 50%. But you can see the spread here is Philly minus 5.5, right? So I just think generally, like last year, they didn't have Saquon. They had DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift's actually, as a Lions fan, I don't really think he's that great. But, he wasn't bad last year running behind that O-line. So I just think with the spread of like 5.5, Philly's projected to win by 5 or 6. That's a whole touchdown. Kirk Cousins hasn't looked great. The Achilles tear. He just can't really move in the pocket. So I just think Philly's going to be playing from ahead. They're going to feed Saquon the ball a lot. And I just think naturally just put Jalen Hurts for a spot to go under. Let's go. So the next play I have, Jake Elliott over 1.5 field goals. Let's go into this real quick. 1.5 field goals. So it's kind of also like semi-correlates with Jalen Hurts' under. So if Jalen Hurts goes under, obviously those are the last 20, 30 yards to pick up throwing the football for a touchdown. Like that doesn't really – it's not that strong of a correlation, but it is correlated a little bit. So you can see right here Atlanta's 31st, so literally almost dead last and allowing field goals, like good for us. We go to 2023 page. So only 8 out of 18, but home games, we're at 50%. And when they win by 6, it's 2 out of 3 games in any home or away. It's 4 or 6. So I think Jake Elliott's in a good spot to kick some field goals against this Atlanta defense. I think, they're going to be playing. I think the Eagles are going to score some points. I think they're going to have control of the ball a lot. But none of that really matters about what I think. It's what the books think. So Jake Elliott field goals are made over 1.5. DraftKings 130. I'm pretty sure that's BetMGM 135. Caesars 145. So pretty good juice on this. Obviously there's no head-to-head, but they are literally almost dead last in field goals allowed. So I'm liking Jake Elliott. Also reliable kicker. He doesn't really miss. So it's just attempts here that we're worried about. So the next pick, we're going to go with Reed Detmers last because that's MLB. So Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, man. What a kind of a disappointing player. But we know the talent is there. So over 3.5. Honestly, the outlier page sucks. He had 3 last game on 3 targets. And honestly, I'm going to disregard this entire season. Arthur Smith did not utilize Bijan. He did not utilize Kyle Pitts or Drake London. And Desmond Ridder was behind center, so that's also not ideal. We got Kirk, even though Kirk hasn't looked that great. So Philly is 21st in tight ends, receptions allowed. And Vic Fangio is the defensive coordinator over there. And he just has a long history of just letting tight ends, taking away the wide receivers, bracketing wide receivers, and letting tight ends catch passes in the middle of the field. So we can see Kyle Pitts receptions over 3.5, 52.75% chance to hit minus 132. Pinnacle, Sharp Book minus 26. They got the under at plus 103. So everything minus 128, minus 130, minus 130. So if you don't know or not familiar with like odds, the higher the negative number is, the less they'll pay you out. So the more likely that is to happen. I just think, they're going to be playing from behind in general. The spread is 5.5, 6.5 actually. And if they're playing from behind, they're going to have to throw more. Kirk Cousins actually didn't have a single dropback. Everything was from shotgun, which is kind of crazy because he can't move with his Achilles. So I just think second half, late in the second, 2-minute drill, 4-minute drill. Kyle Pitts, 3.5 receptions. He's in a good spot with the game plan Vic Fangio likes to run out. So I'm liking 3.5. So, like I said before, if I think Philly is going to win from ahead or lead early, win early on, Saquon, the running back, should, see a lot of volume. So let's get into that. So over 18, 51.78% chance to hit, 17.5, 17.5, minus 130, minus 140, 18.5, 50-50 with the plus 100 odds. So actually, I do like fantasy score more, but the books don't. But we'll go into where I played fantasy score in a second. So we go check out the outlier page. Rush attempts over 18. So he had 24 last game against Green Bay in a game where, they only won by 5 points, but they had the lead. And in 2023, obviously different team with the Giants, but when they won by 6 at home, 21-18, so a push. Other game was 14 against Washington. Maybe he got hurt, came back, something like that. Only 14 rush attempts, so, we don't really know what happened that game, but generally when teams are leading, they're going to give the ball to the running back, and Saquon Barkley is a hell of a lot better than DeAndre Swift. Sorry to any DeAndre Swift believers out there, but better throughout the tackles, rushing attempts against 27th. I just think I don't really believe in this Falcons offense. I live in Atlanta. I hear a lot of delusional Atlanta fans, but, Kirk Cousins looked terrible, like literally terrible. Couldn't move in the pocket. Everything was from shotgun. So I just don't really believe in them to get a lead at all in this game. And I just think it makes more sense for Saquon to just be fed the ball. And that also kind of correlates with Jalen Hurts a little bit. I just think, they're going to be playing from ahead. So, and let's get into this last MLB pick. There's only so much value for one NFL game. So, don't force. I am kind of forcing the Jalen Hurts a little bit. I'm not in love with that, but, I'm going to get some money back regardless. So, I might as well take a shot on what I think. So, Reed Detmers over 6.5. Let's go to MLB. He's playing the White Sox. So, if you don't know anything about the White Sox or baseball, the White Sox are, literally one of the worst teams. Actually, they are the worst team of all time. That's not even an understatement. So, if you're not familiar with the Angels, neither am I, but I do know Reed Detmers was one of their best prospects. I think he was involved in the Shohei trade. I could be wrong on that, so let me know. I think I am wrong on that. But, he's a good prospect, and he's been shoving recently. So he just came back from injury, got hurt June, came back July. 10 strikeouts against the Dodgers, 8 strikeouts against Minnesota. And I think generally against the White Sox, the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, how many innings can he eat? 6, 7? So let's go head-to-head. So this was last year. He had 10 Ks in 7 innings, and he threw 105 pitches. So he's going to have plenty of opportunity here. He's in the 86th percentile for Ks. And Chicago, all-time, or this season, I should say, 23rd in the league, 24.3%. Right now they're 18th in the last 30, but the percentage is actually higher at 24.6. So a lot of strikeouts going on in the MLB right now. And home games, 4-7, any game 8-14. Let's go last year. Obviously, might have improved home games. A little bit of a boost when they win. Maybe he gets, so maybe he pitches some more innings when he wins. 5, 6, 7. So what about this year? No data. So when they win, actually 7, 7, 8, and one game against 3. Houston's a tough matchup, so not really too worried about it. That 79 pitches. So I think Reed is in a good spot to, absolutely just shove down Chicago. So this is a slip I ran, little 5-man. So I'm not gonna click submit because I already played it. But let's go into a better pick. So if you're not familiar, the more books you have, this is the slip right here. But if you're not familiar with better, the more books you have in general, so I'm in Georgia, so I don't have sports books, but better, Prizepicks, underdog, chalkboard, sleeper, all those, parlay play. So better is kind of a new one. They have good lines, good odds, and they tend to bump their lines slower. So you can see I ran back Reed, I ran back Jake, and I ran back Kyle Pitts. Saquon Barkley, 16.5 fantasy points. Tyler Jeter under 28.5. So we'll get into that. So the reason why I played Saquon on this is that movie page, but the reason why I played Saquon on better 16.5 because his fantasy score is 17 on Prizepicks, and if we go here, Prizepicks, Saquon, can't spell it. I'm also freezing. So he's projected to go under 17, 15.7, 16.1. So these aren't actually their lines in the sports books. It's just like all like fumble, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns. So that's all like put into the scoring for the sports books, right? Based on their own odds. So he's actually a goblin to score a touchdown. Yep. 0.5. So I just think generally when you're playing from behind, Saquon, he's going to see, I like him to get 18 rushing attempts at the minimum. So maybe he sees 20, maybe he sees 22. He might see 2 or 3 catches. That's 2 points. And if he gets in the end zone, I think it's pretty much a guarantee he cashes 16.5 fantasy points. So you can go check that out. This is 17. So, yeah, this is for a different team in 2023. But when they won by 6 points in New York, 19.8 against Washington, 30 against Washington, 23.7 against Philly this year. They didn't win by 6 points, but they did win 33.2. So there's no A.J. Brown, so I'm expecting some more Saquon Barkley usage in this game. I think they're going to play from ahead. That's going to play into the volume. We know volume is King's fantasy. So I just think really like 17. Honestly, I like him to go over 17, but the books don't. So I'm going to play him at 16.5 over here on better. I just think the value's there, half a point of fantasy points. There was a game yesterday where I had Kyron Williams over 15. My friend put over 16, and he ended at 15.2. So never really want to take bumps. You want to take the lowest line possible. It's going to give you the best chance to cash. So the other play on that better slip was Tyler Algier, 26.5. So actually it was 28.5 on better. So he had 21. He had 3 rush attempts, and he had 0 receptions, 0 targets. So I just think, last year, I'm not even going to go into this because he absolutely crushed this line, but they were using him, like they were literally splitting him and Bijan Robinson. And I think Tyler Algier is a fine player, but, splitting a backfield with a person you took like top 10 is kind of ridiculous. So rushing yards under 9. So they have a good defensive line. If I think they're going to be playing from behind, they're not going to be running the ball as often. And if they do, it shouldn't be Tyler Algier. It should be Bijan, and receiving work should probably go to Bijan too. So I don't think he's going to get 0 attempts, but I definitely don't. I think 28.5 is pretty steep for Algier tonight. I just think the game script is not in his favor. So I will link this if anyone is on better. If not, if you use my code, you'll get some money back. I think they might be running a promotion where you get $50 instead of $25. So that'd be pretty sick. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video and getting into my picks. Let's make some money. I'm not a gambling advisor, so I'm not perfect, but we can check into some statistics. So this month in September, I'm up 32.8 units, and I'm up 44.84. So basically every slip I run is 5 or 6 flex on Prizepicks, 5 pick insured, 6 pick insured on better, underdog 3-man uninsured. So those are just the profitable splits. I can make a video on that if you guys want, but we're having a good month, and we're having a good Sunday, Monday. So Sunday 2 units, Monday Night Football. I had some leftover parlays that ended up cashing on Monday Night Football, like Garrett Wilson or something like that. And this Sunday, 14.4 units on a Sunday. So, NFL is back. MLB is pretty unpredictable, but I just feel like I'm better at NFL, NBA, so it's about to be time to start printing. So, appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.